1999 is widely regarded as the greatest year in cinema.
Fuck.
And Fight Club could be one of the best and biggest surprises in a packed roster. In a year where the number 40 movie grossed over $100 million, Fight Club stood out for being something completely different to anything we'd seen in a long time. Hey there, fellow watchers, it's me, Whitey, and if you haven't seen Fight Club before, here's your spoiler warning. G-Man joining me on the cardboard floor. How are you?
back on the cardboard.
You are.
Great to be back after a few weeks out.
You have, mate.
You guys have been busy.
Yeah, been busy. Oh, busy. busy. Yeah, I've been busy. We've knocked a few out without you. It's not the same.
No, it's good to be back.
Yeah. It's how was Shanghai Con?
Yeah, very good. Great time as usual. Yeah.
Do we sponsor any pangolin farms?
No, not this time.
Okay.
Just press the flesh. Really after a teeth enlargement guy over there.
Go to Turkey.
Yeah, Dr. David Lopan.
David Lopan, the dentist. And up there on the land, he's back. It feels like forever since he's been out. But Dan on the land, welcome.
I've also knocked a few out, G-Man.
Sure you are. Were you hiding in the cupboard when you were knocking them out, though?
Got a lot of feedback on the MySpaces questioning if I'm a little bit too freaky, but no, I stand by my comments.
Okay, excellent. Now, of course, we are Born to Watch, the movie podcast where we don't take ourselves or the movies too seriously, except, of course, in the Snorbs report, which unfortunately, with Damo out of the roster, won't be happening.
No Damo. No Snorbs.
So you can put your tissues squarely back on the bedside table. Overs and Unders, Fight Club, 1999 movie, 26 years old this year. G-Man, I'm going to start with you. Memories of Fight Club. I've set in the overs and unders at 13. I've been fairly conservative here.
Mate, I watched Fight Club the other night and I realised that I haven't seen that whole movie in its entirety.
Wow.
Over the years, I've seen parts of it. I've obviously seen the fight scenes and there's some very famous scenes in there. But when I started watching, I was like, I don't remember the start of this movie. I don't think I've seen this. And the ending. So I always knew the premise. I always knew about the movie.
Gives it away.
No,
I don't remember the start, the middle, or the ending.
No, I remember the middle, but that's it. But
Yeah.
I've seen parts of it, but I know I've seen long,
chunks of
chunks of it. Yeah. But I was watching it when it came on. I was like, I don't have any recollection of this. I don't think I've seen it.
All right, Dan, G-Man, having never seen it before, what about you? Overs and unders 13. Do you remember when you first saw it? I know the answer to it, but I've got to ask.
You're a fuckwit gal. How could you have not seen this movie?
I thought I had. Obviously, we were traveling at the time, Morgs, when it came out. We were just having adventures all around the world.
That's probably why you didn't.
So maybe I didn't see it. Maybe someone gave away the storyline to me. And I was like, well, there's no point seeing it now.
What were we doing in 99?
Oh,
no one gives a fuck.
By 99, I think.
No one cares.
Adventures with Morgs and Gal. We haven't got this sting yet, so that can just be a placeholder. 99. Yeah, we were living in the UK in Earlsfield, weren't we, G?
Yeah, in Earlsfield.
Yeah.
Straight down the road from Wimbledon, yeah.
Putting your swordsman's skills to the test in Old Blighty. Getting through a few 10 mutts.
Overs and unders 13, Dan. Where do you see it?
I'm heaps more than 13. Heaps more. This was when I graduated from my 4 VHSs to my selective DVD collection. This was probably the first one I ever got. I've seen this heaps.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy go-to. It's not an easy. I got to say, I found it to be a good watch, but it's not an easy watch.
No,
there's some
definitely very Fincher, isn't it?
Yeah,
like Seven. that sort of the dark casting.
It's bleak.
Yeah, it's very bleak.
It's very, and it is very Fincher. Good call there, G-Man. Obviously directed by the great man. I'm with you, Dan. I'm excess of 13, but not a heap 13. I'd say probably 20, maybe low 20s. And look, watching it this time, I watched it on Saturday afternoon, and you sort of you can't take your eyes off the screen. it's so clever.
Yeah.
And this watching it this time, and I've got a question time, but I was really focusing on when it was obvious that they were the same person. And it's not until very, very, very deep into the movie that it's obvious. And there's one bit when I think there's the turn. I'm going to ask that question in question time.
Yeah, I found this hard because when I was watching it, I obviously knew that. So, and you can sort of, it's hard to pick up, but there was definitely some lines in there, like it's like a sense of deja vu, like I'd been there before. And, you know, if you don't know that, there's still little subtle clues that you can look back on.
Yeah.
You go, oh, they're alluding to it a lot throughout the movie. You just may not pick it up.
It's quite funny. Like the narrator stands in the background of a lot of the movie.
Yes.
And when Tyler is front and center.
Yeah.
It's incredibly well filmed, and it must have been very difficult to do.
Yeah, it was. It's a really good story.
Yeah.
It's a well done story.
Yeah. I hope the world is not the way they portray it. But anyway, G-Man, why don't you tell us about Fight Club?
Right. Got a couple of taglines for you.
Love the tagline.
How much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight?
That's actually a pretty good statement.
Mm.
I think you'll learn a lot being in a fight.
Yeah. Well, in a time of crisis or something like that, you learn more about yourself, how you react.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Dan? You've been in a few fights. You learn much about yourself?
Yeah, I must say that I've been a pugilist a long time now and have always, I guess you could say, been able to throw them. And I think that whilst this film is definitely not glorifying violence in any way, I think it's always nice to know that you can fuck shit up.
Well, when you do your boxing now, do you like, where do you aim for? Do you aim for the neck still, or
wherever I hit, it's going to sting. It's a bit like when the narrator gets Tyler in the ear.
In the ear.
Whatever I clip, there's going to be ow! What'd you do that for?
Very bony fist, Dan. Very bony fist. G-Man, okay, keep going.
All right. When you wake up in a different place at a different time, can you wake up as a different person?
Okay.
And the last one is losing all hope is freedom.
Dan, for those that aren't looking on the YouTube channel, Dan is holding up a fast forward picture. This is the 15-second fast forward of the podcast. You're such a fucker, Daniel. I like it, Gal. Keep going.
All right, here's the synopsis. A ticking time bomb, insomniac, and a slippery soap salesman channel primal male aggression into a shocking new form of therapy. Their concept catches on, with underground fight clubs forming in every town, until a sensuous and mysterious woman comes between the two men and ignites an out-of-control spiral towards oblivion.
Short and sharp.
Short, yeah, well, yeah. Got it under the 15
shorter
second
and sharper if you fast forward it.
Exactly. It's under the 15 seconds. You can get through the whole thing without having to hear it.
I've got to say that it doesn't need. You don't need to explain the movie. Just watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to give too much away. Let's see what this trailer does and whether it gives too much away of the movie. Hold on tight. Here we go.
The movies.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Why?
How much can you know about yourself? You've never been in a fight.
Wait, let me start earlier. Like many of you, I was stuck.
No, you can't die from insomnia.
I'd flip through catalogs and wonder, what kind of dining set defines me as a person? This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. I prayed for a different life.
Soap. I make and I sell soap.
And this is how I met Tyler Durden.
Come on, hit me before I lose my nerve. Okay. Ow! You hit me in the ear!
Well, there we go. It just looks like a chaotic film clip.
Yeah, there's a lot of action in there. I think that's a really good film. I think that's going to bring, obviously, drawing people towards it.
100%. Would you watch the movie after seeing that, Dan?
Yeah, it doesn't pay off with the final experience. I think that would have been a tough sell at the time. The two leads. I mean, Brad Pitt was he was pretty hot at the time, but he wasn't. Was still taking on some interesting roles. It wasn't just blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster. And Edward Norton was coming off the back of Primal Fear and the Larry Flynn movie and a couple of others. So they were both big stars, but maybe that was enough to get you to go see it. I don't know. I don't think it does it justice. No.
Well, so Fincher's not a huge name. So Fincher's really only done Alien 3, The Game, and then he's into this. So Fincher's not the draw card at this stage, I wouldn't think. Brad Pitt's the draw card. And Ed Norton, I swear to God, is coming off from 96 to 99. Ed Norton is unstoppable.
Well, Ed Norton's first movie is Primal Fear.
Yeah.
That's his first ever movie, and he's got a pretty good run. We'll hit him in a minute, but he got a pretty good run through there.
It's incredible.
So he's really hitting his straps there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brad Pitt's the big name. Brad Pitt's been in True Romance, Legends of the Fall, 7's already out, 12 Monkeys.
So Fincher had done 7 as well. So he'd done Alien
7
3,
as well.
7,
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
and The Game. So Fincher probably was a bit of a draw card, but Brad Pitt was the guy. Brad Pitt got paid $17.5 million for this movie.
Yeah.
Ed Norton, 2.5.
Well, that's the saying. Ed Norton was Ed Norton came in with a bang. Like he had a few Oscar nominations.
Mate, he's Primal Fear, Larry Flint, American History X, Rounders into Fight Club. He's massive.
But he had, American History X. He had an Oscar nomination. He had his first one for Woody Allen's Everyone Say I Love You. Yep. Sorry, for Primal Fear.
Primal Fear.
And then he was, So all those movies around that time, and then he's hit a few after. He didn't have a long.
He doesn't do much after, to be really honest. He's a bit of a pain in the ass to work with.
Yeah, apparently that's the story. He did The Illusionist. He did Red Dragon.
Yep.
And he's most recently done A Complete Unknown. He got a Best Supporting Actor nom for that.
Oh, okay.
For the biopic about
Bob Dylan. Yeah, with Timothy Chalamet Ding Dong.
Yeah.
Shyamalan.
Okay. But look, I won't hit on Brad Pitt too much because we've obviously covered him.
Well, we're going to do critical thinking first, and then we'll dive into the cast.
Oh, we're doing critical thinking.
Yeah, we'll do that first,
Right.
and then we'll dive into the cast. Yeah, we jumped a little bit ahead.
I've been away for so long.
Yeah, chill.
Don't
Just
really-
cool
don't
your
really know where
jets.
I'm at.
It's okay. Cool your jets. Critical thinking. IMDb. 8.8 out of 10. It's number 13. In the...
Come too fast.
Oh, dear me. IMDb rates Fight Club 8.8 out of 10. It's number 13 in the top 250.
13. Wowzers.
13. Lucky number 13. Certified fresh, 81% on the tomato meter and 96% on the popcorn meter, which is the audience.
96. Wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good rankings there. Got a few reviews. I've got a couple bad reviews and I've got one good review. I just wanted to... found the bad reviews a bit interesting, but the good review, Janet Maslin of the New York Times, the director of 7 and The Game for the first time finds subject matter audacious enough to suit his lightning fast visual sophistication and puts that style to stunningly effective use. Yeah, nice. A lot of jump cuts. There's a lot going on with Fincher in this movie.
There is. He keeps it bouncing around pretty quick, doesn't he?
Couple bad reviews. Interesting to see what you think of these ones. So Kenneth Turan of the LA Times. If the first rule of Fight Club is nobody talks about Fight Club, a fitting subsection might be, why would anyone want to?
Oh.
Snap.
Bet he was pretty happy with himself after the
It's a cracking quote.
Yeah.
But you know what? Some people don't like movies about the bleakness of society. It doesn't really say much for the human race, this movie.
No, it's very dark, and I can understand that it wouldn't appeal to some people. They're not going to want to watch a movie about people fighting each other.
Yeah, for sure. Another bad review, Roger Ebert, the big name, Chicago Sun-Times. If it had all continued in the vein explored in the first act, it might have become a great film. But the second act is pandering, and the third is trickery.
Trickery?
Well, because he's saying the twist.
Yeah.
where they become the same person.
I don't know about that because that's sort of delving into his psychotic state, and that's what it all is. It's all an apparition.
I'm going to call it Damo on this one. I actually think I enjoyed the first hour more than the second hour of this movie. The build.
The first scenes were good. The build up at the start with Ed Norton was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Pretty much until they started, probably just before all the Project Mayhem stuff.
Mm.
I think it didn't lose me, but I found that the whole building part of the first hour to be much better.
There's a few questions about Project Mayhem and all of
Yeah.
that we need to cover a bit later on.
I'm sure we will.
When you're thinking from Damo's perspective, do you have strawberry blonde pubes or red pubes? And do you call masturbating having a dick?
All of the above. I have pubes like Ronald McDonald would have. That's how I view myself. And that's how I view Damo. I view Damo as a junior. He's a junior burger. He's a junior Ronald McDonald.
Ronnie Macca.
That's it. All right, G-Man, guess what's next?
I'm back on track now.
Ordinary people. We've covered Ed Norton.
We've covered Ed. Look, I won't say much about, as I said, about Brad Pitt because we've covered him so many times. We've done 7. We've done a few.
Let me just pose a question.
Yep.
About Brad Pitt. Is he the most sexually inviting human on the planet in this movie before he gets his face beaten to a pulp?
He's a good-looking rooster when he gets the shirt off.
On the plane, at the bar, and even up until probably the first couple fights before his teeth gets chipped and his head gets bashed in. Is there a more sexually attractive man on the planet than Brad
Very
Pitt?
charismatic.
Wow.
I've
Good hair.
put this to the
Great hair.
test in real life. I've done an IRL on this. When me and the G were in San Francisco, I ran a very similar jacket to that out there when the G and I were out with our wives to be. We were young bucks out in the town in San Francisco, and I have never been eye-rooted by so many people in my life. Gow, you remember it was fucked up, wasn't it?
Oh, mate.
You were in San Francisco. It's got a massive gay community.
Oh, it wasn't just chicks. No, it was everyone. And I felt it was exhilarating. I did feel like Brad Pitt.
Were you objectified? You felt objectified?
Yeah, I was objectified
He was
for a
meat on a
night.
stick.
But yeah, it must be amazing walking around being him all the time, and me just being him sometimes was enough.
Oh, God. I'm surprised you're not wearing the jacket tonight, Dan.
I couldn't find it. I don't know what I've done with it.
No, I reckon what happened is that your now wife, has probably burnt that jacket.
That's
If
a
you
good
were-
call. Good call.
If you were like,
A tactical realignment of my
Yeah.
hotness so that
Went the
everyone
same way
leaves
as
me
the Allen
alone.
shirt.
Yeah.
Bungert.
Bungert.
I've had some flush.
Oh, Bungert.
Look, I will just say one thing about this movie with the sliding doors. The producer, Ross Bell, initially wanted Russell Crowe to play Tyler
Yes.
Durden.
Yes.
But he was overruled by
that.
another
Skinny
producer.
Rusty.
Yeah.
Not
Rusty. And this is
nerdy
prime
Rusty.
Rusty.
Yeah.
This is young Rusty. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just before Gladiator.
what?
He'd be a Hando type character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very much a Hando. Like,
Yeah.
back
He
in
would have
those
been
I could see that.
35, 36, I reckon. Yeah, he would have been.
Yeah.
He'd have been pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, the producers actually said, I'm glad he got overruled because they can't see anyone playing that role after Brad Pitt's played it. So they're very happy with the choice in the end.
Okay. Keep going, G.
Look, Ed Norton, we've already covered a
Yeah.
lot of what he's done up to where he's now into a complete unknown.
I threw it out to the industry because I was intrigued by why he's got such a reputation for being difficult. And if you've ever seen him interviewed, he's a super intelligent bloke and a really interesting interview and doesn't give shitty rote answers. Like really is quite thoughtful in his responses. But there is a theory going around that part of the reason he's such a fuckwit on film sets now is because of the collaborative nature he had with Fincher and Brad Pitt on this film. So rather than just turning up and reading his lines, the three of them would get together and actually block it and talk about it and talk about what the character's perspective were, change lines. And he was actually really heavily involved, which most of the time, as we know in the industry, isn't the fucking go. Like Quentin Tarantino, you don't get to breathe a beat out of what he's written in his script. I mean, he writes the words and you fucking say them. That's how it goes. So in giving him more like a theatre, I guess, setup where the actors do get together and workshop it a bit, I think he's come in pretty hot after this and gone, well, fuck it. I need to be involved in all of these decisions. And most directors just say, fuck off, Ed Norton. I've already got my script. Don't need your help.
Yeah, but what happens with your script, Morgs? Like, what happened with yours? How do you play that?
Thanks for asking, Gal. It's it's still in very much in it's still on the radar. Now, I must say, some of the streamers are now starting to show a bit of interest. So I won't go into the business of Hollywood too much, F-wits, but
Pornhub.
when I've been identified, and basically, although I haven't got it in writing, I've been labelled as one to watch. So that just means that in high likelihood, my script will go into the actual development stage as part of the next part of the process.
Nice.
It's exciting. I look forward to seeing the journey almost firsthand as it unfolds in front of us. I want to touch a little on Fincher.
Sure.
Do you want to? Have you got any more of the cast you want to?
Oh, look, just quickly.
Yep, go for it.
Meatloaf.
Yeah, the loaf.
Yeah, cousin of our good friend Meat Feet.
Yes,
Meatloaf's great in this. He's very good.
He's good.
Yeah, he's very good.
His name
He's
is Robert
kind
Paulson.
of a bit of a dill, or was a dill, rest in peace. If you ever, unlike Edward Norton, he wasn't as interesting when he was interviewed. He just licked himself out quite a bit, claimed that he was solely responsible for the success of Bat Out of Hell, when really he just got handed the song sheet and
just sung
was
the
told to
songs.
sing it. Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't know this, but Bat Out of Hell is the third highest selling album of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Estimated 30 million copies sold worldwide. Spent 470 weeks in the UK charts alone.
Well, Gal,
What are you know what the first two are?
What?
First two albums.
No, do you know what they are?
Oh, I would only be guessing, but I would say Thriller.
I would say
by
Thriller.
The artist
that's a
formerly
good
known
call.
as MJ. And the second one, I would say maybe, Rumors? Or one of the Eagles?
I was just
CD?
thinking that. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Mate, reach out, people, and let us know,
let us know.
what are the two biggest. We'll have a look by then. But
Yeah, if I had a gun at my head, I'd say it's probably an Eagles greatest hits or something like that.
Yeah. Did you know that that Meatloaf was offered the lead vocals for Foreigner?
No.
Turned it down.
Really?
You know, yeah.
oh,
I want to know what love is.
do you know,
Oh,
Gal?
he had
that
the
it's-
pipes. How
Yeah,
good was he at
Oh,
the
he could
AFL Grand
sing.
Final?
His pipes were a little rusty then.
Austin's mum, kaboobies.
Yeah, he was not good. But you know that it's cold and lonely in the deep dark night, and you can see paradise by the dashboard lights. Yeah. Ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, it was good. Sorry, I thought he was excellent in this.
Yeah, he's good.
Can I just? It's a bit of spoiler alert, but for my kick-ass credit song today, I actually scrapped my first effort, completed my first effort, and then scrapped it, and it was all about Robert Paulson's breasts, but it was a one-trick pony.
Yeah, right.
It was 4 verses that said exactly the same thing about his massive cans for the Snorms Report, and I chuckled. And I might bring it up in another pod, but I did throw it away. So that's what I do for you, F-Wits. I write multiple songs.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Ain't no
Anyone else,
doubt
Ben?
about it.
Just look, Helena Bonham Carter, obviously, as Marla Singer. Obviously, she's been in a lot of movies. A Room with a View. She was in Hamlet. She was in Frankenstein in '94 with Kenneth
Mary
Branagh.
Shelley's.
Yep. Nova came with Steve Martin and Chelsea Ross. Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Been in lots of things.
She was Tim Burton's wife and muse there.
Yeah,
for
Tim
a while.
Burton's wife. Yeah.
They were married from 2001 to 2014 or something. They got
Oh, gee, boom! Stat bomb!
Yeah, she's Alice in Wonderland. She's the Red Queen. She's in Harry
Potter.
Potter.
Yep.
Yeah. She's great in Harry
Ocean's
Potter.
8. Yeah. But look, Courtney Love and Winona Ryder were both initially considered for the role of Marla Singer.
Yeah.
I could see Winona Ryder. I don't think, although Courtney Love was excellent in the People versus Larry Flint.
Yeah.
But I don't see her in this. Oh, fuck.
She had that sort of hard edge to her, though.
She
Like, you
might,
could see her in there.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
But look,
good one.
it actually came down to Helena Bonham Carter and Reese Witherspoon.
Yep.
So
I
David
don't
Fincher
see
wanted.
Reese Witherspoon. Yeah. No.
Well, she got the job.
Well, David Fincher wanted her, but the studio wanted a bigger name and went with Witherspoon. But then she said it's too dark for
Yeah.
me, so she pulled out. So Helena Bonham Carter got it in the end.
She's very good in this movie.
She's really good.
I thought so.
Yeah, she's excellent. Yeah.
Seems like a very good router.
Oh, it's very difficult, the Brad Pitt award, because I think I'd love to give her a crack.
Well, the whole Brad Pitt award is written pretty much after this movie, so
Yeah.
I would assume that you would select Brad Pitt for What Is Brad Pitt. But yeah, it's there you go. I look forward to seeing.
Yeah, it's there's a few curveballs in that Brad Pitt. She's
Jared Leto is very, very pretty as well.
Before he gets beaten to death.
Oh yeah, I mean his face gets pulped, but yeah, he's a bit like me, and there's me, Jared Leto, Rob Lowe, kind of ageless. So I think that I'm not sure what it is we do differently. We're all in the industry. It's just something I've noticed.
It's hard to listen to, isn't it? It's tough. It's hard to listen to. That there, just go back, people, and fast forward that 15 seconds. Look, couple of bit parts. Morgs mentioned Jared Leto, but also Holt McCallany, who is one of my favourite actors.
Yeah, great. Mindhunter.
Yeah, he's so good in Mindhunter.
One of the greatest shows I watched.
Which is a Fincher show.
Oh, it's so good. Wish they made more seasons of that. Morgs, can you reach
He's got a
out to
real
people?
good, tough head. I like his head.
He does. He's got a good, tough head, Yeah,
he was good, Holt McCallany.
Yeah. But are you done with the cast? Okay, Fincher. Without a doubt, in the top. Could he be in the top 10 directors of all time, Dan?
Oh God, I would definitely for us. I don't. It depends how long you extend your timeline, but for Gen X, 100%. I mean,
I think he's a top 5 for Gen X. I think it's him and Tarantino are probably the two.
They're our guys. They feel like our guys.
They do feel like our guys, and I think that. He's he's now the patron saint of digital of filmmaking, and he does everything so differently. I'm really pissed off that he didn't get to finish his Dragon Tattoo trilogy.
Man, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. You introduced me to that version of it with Daniel Craig. I hadn't seen it, and I watched it, and it was fucking excellent. Even though I'd seen the Swedish run, read all the books, it was still just a little bit different, a little bit darker, and awesome. And it didn't make any money, so he didn't get green light to do the next two. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch that version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's excellent. Yeah,
the good thing about that movie is it can be a one and done, and which it is. He does round it out pretty well. Goes into some of the next film from the Swedish film to sort of finish the storyline a bit, but it's so fucking good. And I want to talk about the credit sequence, which I'll do in Good, the Bad, the Ugly of Fight Club, and how it's quite similar. I think it's the birth of the credit sequence for Dragon Tattoo, which is one of the best of all time.
I've got a lot of Seven vibes in this too. Look and feel,
100%
of the really. He's like James Cameron. He's got a real visual style that is evident in all his flicks, which is great. And the mark of a great director, I think, that you can pick their film straight away.
Yeah, all that bleakness and the rundown house. Just as well watching, I was thinking it's just like Seven, like just giving that.
That's you're right. Yeah, I reckon that's got it. Yeah,
he loves to film in the dark. Fincher. A lot of his movies are filmed in the dark. Like I watched a little bit of Zodiac the other night, and mate, for a 2.5 hour movie, nearly 3 hour movie, it really holds your attention the whole time.
It's underrated, Zodiac. I'm going to revisit that. Yeah. But sorry, back to look and feel of Fincher, just that whole dark and bleakness. Like, where do you reckon this is shot? Like, what city are we in? We're in the US, but other than that, I don't know. It's a bit like Seven. You don't know where the fuck you are.
I think that's the best part of it. Is that it's anywhere USA.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? So whereas if you pigeonhole it to New York, you pigeonhole it to Chicago, you pigeonhole it to LA, I don't think it's any of those. I think it's more more your working class, big like, you know what I mean? Like it's but yeah, like it's a shithole.
Where he ends up living, yeah.
Toilet.
Yeah, it's a toilet. All right, G.
Look, we'll move on to gross. We go to gross?
Yeah.
Yep.
Go for it.
So domestically, 37 million, internationally, 64 for a total of 101 on
Pretty
a budget
low,
of...
huh?
Well, I get that. Well, a budget of 65 million,
Mm.
opening weekend did 11 million, only 5.4 week runtime average.
Wow.
So not in the Sims for too long, but a lot of things turning over. It was actually the number 40, I think.
It was down. It was
35th.
yeah,
35th.
Yeah.
100 million, right below Eyes Wide Shut and just above Any Given Sunday.
Two good movies,
Some
man.
good movies in there.
Two good movies.
Yeah. But look, for that year, obviously, American Beauty won everything at the awards. Obviously won Best Picture, Best Director for Sam Mendes, Best Actor Kevin Spacey. Hilary Swank got Best Actress for Boys Don't Cry.
Have you seen the latest Twitter war between Kevin Spacey and Guy Pearce?
Yeah. Guy Pearce came out and made some comments.
Yeah, about LA Confidential.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of with Kevin Spacey on this one. Guy Pearce says some pretty fucking stupid things sometimes. I was reading an interview with him the other day, and he's currently with Clarice Van Houten and has a kid with her, and they live together. And in the interview, he referred to the lover of his life as his former wife. So I don't know that Clarice Van Houten would really enjoy reading that.
Not only that, he cheated on his wife with Clarice Van Houten.
Yeah.
So, like, I watched Kevin Spacey's. I watched what Guy Pearce said, and I watched Kevin Spacey's retort.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm all in on Kevin Spacey.
Oh, same. Absolutely same.
You are not the victim, Guy Pearce.
No.
Calm
down.
Like that movie, like when was 95, LA Confidential?
Yeah.
30 years ago, mate.
Yeah.
And not only that, he still hung out with him after the fact.
Yeah.
Now, it's almost the way that Kevin Spacey makes it seem is that maybe something happened. It was, do you know what I mean? Maybe Guy was...
You reckon he's a scorned lover?
Maybe Guy was a bit bi. Guy went bi for a summer. Who knows? But...
yeah. I mean, yeah, look, we've all done that back in uni and stuff, but we... I did like Guy Pearce suggesting that the only time he got some respite was when Simon Baker Denny was on set, and I can understand that because he's probably my Brad Pitt, good looking rooster.
Look, there's probably every chance that it was life imitating art, and there was some of Kevin's expulsion in Simon's stomach. Who knows?
Well, Kevin Spacey's been acquitted. He was found not guilty of all charges.
Absolutely.
He's a big raving queer, and that is absolutely fine. Go for it, Kevin Spacey, and leave the thing alone.
He's poor bugger's broke. And
he's got no freight. He
certainly paid for whatever happened.
Yeah.
Which he's been found to have not happened.
That's it.
it's rather interesting. Anyway, G-Man.
Well, yeah, but you could say that, but then you could also say there's not enough evidence because it's one person's word against another, and they're like, "Hey,
for sure."
Oh, G-Man.
You can't prove it.
Are you litigating against what the jury found?
It's the burden of proof, Gal.
No, I'm just saying but they could have said
you're a Guy Pearce sympathiser.
Hey?
Look at you, Guy Pearce sympathiser.
I never said that, Guy Pearce. Maybe Guy Pearce has jumped on the bandwagon.
Piss off, Jack.
What did you say?
Anyway, back to that. So the top movies of the year, money wise, Phantom Menace at 1 billion.
Boo. Boo.
6 Sense, another movie with a twist, in at number 2
Excellent.
at 672 million. So that's a big gap.
Fair way behind.
Toy Story 2 at 500.
Seen 6 Sense, Whitey?
Oh, I'd say I've probably seen it 12 times.
Wow. Okay, I reckon I've only seen it twice.
Yeah.
Because once to see it, and the second time just to sense
see if
check
you can
to
pick
make
it
sure
apart.
that so you can pick it apart, and then I haven't watched it again.
Well, I watched it once, and it was like, oh wow, you get the twist, and then I watched it again later with Chrissy, who'd never seen it, and then she was watching it halfway through. So, watch, it's a really good movie, and she got halfway through and goes, Oh, he's dead.
And
And I was like, oh, she picked it. And I was like, damn it. Like,
Wow.
I
Wow.
thought she started
Yeah.
singing. So no one told me life was gonna be this way. Oh no, she loved Will and Grace. Sorry, I don't know the theme song for that.
anyway, moving on. I should say the number 5 movie for the year was Tarzan.
The
With
animated
Christopher
movie.
Lambert.
No. No.
My
That's the Disney animated film.
448 million.
Yeah. That's a whole is that a whole new world? Is that where the song comes from? I don't know. Maybe that's something else.
I don't know. I've never
I
seen
think you're
it.
thinking of Jungle Book.
No, it's not. No. Anyway. Anything else, G-Man?
No.
Any awards or anything? No, Oscars? Got any of that? Or are you a bit behind this week?
I told you all of that.
You did. You're a good man. I'm just checking with you. 1999 hit sleeper dud. G, you got the hit.
Oh, I thought I had the sleeper. I did the sleeper.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm the
do the
hit you
sleeper.
did.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't change them over. Dano.
Mate, I'm not going to attend their production meetings anymore if
No.
this is what's going to come out of
Sorry,
it.
I forgot to change this in the thing.
Far out.
There's a production.
Dan's got the hit. What have you got?
Gow mentioned it before. It wasn't very high on the list, but it's something I return to every year without fail. Oliver Stone's seminal Any Given Sunday.
Oh, yes.
Great movie.
Tap into the well of the sports genre when I'm writing my screenplays. I love the beats. I love the tropes. This one subverts it somewhat. It's a fucking good rollicking ride. Al Pacino's excellent for a 5'1" NFL football coach. Jamie Foxx is also excellent. LL Cool J's. Ladies do love Cool James. He is excellent in it as well. It's just a really good flick. If you haven't seen it before, go check it out.
Yeah, great flick.
Cameron Diaz is great too, as
Yep.
Christina
Excellent.
Pagliacci.
Excellent.
And Margaret. And Margaret is her
Yeah,
mum.
and Margaret.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a massive cast, doesn't it?
Yeah, really good
LT,
movie.
Lawrence Taylor, the real NFL player from the New York Giants.
Who's the dude from Scrubs that's the journo that gets punched in the face?
John C. McGinley.
John C. McGinley,
John C.
yeah.
McGinley's good in it. Yeah, it's good. Good all around flick.
No, it's a good flick. Well done, Dan. G-Man, you've got the sleeper.
All right, I'm with the sleep at the time. We've already mentioned Bob Dylan.
Yes, okay.
But,
I can tell you what you got.
Yeah.
This is the story of the hurricane.
Gee, good flick.
What a great movie. When I first watched it, I thought, like, it's a true story.
Yeah.
Based on a true story about Reuben Hurricane Carter, who was a boxer that was convicted of murder wrongly and spent a long time in prison,
behind
20,
bars.
30 years until he was finally exonerated. But Denzel Washington at his best. You know, it was such a great movie, and because it's based on it, it's just so compelling.
Yeah.
Really, really good watch.
Yeah, good. It's great. Well done, G. Good call. I've got the dud.
Yep.
This not only is a dud movie, this could be one of the worst movies ever made. And it actually made a bit of money in the year. Yeah. Will Smith, Kevin Kline, Wild Wild West.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, awful.
Now, the hilarious thing is that Will Smith gave up playing Neo in The Matrix to make Wild Wild West.
So bad.
It's got, I'm pretty sure it's got Salma Hayek in it as well, which is a highlight. But this is I reckon I've watched 45 minutes of this movie and turned it off. It is a joke.
I watched it, and Salma Hayek's in it. I remember watching, thinking this is just very average at best.
Yeah, well, it's a bit steampunk, Wild West, very odd. And I just remember the wiggity wiggity wild Wild West with Will Smith's bloody song in the film clip. Terrible.
Yeah, he had some massive hits around this time, obviously.
Oh, he's huge.
And he was the number one in the world then. But this was not one of them.
Yeah. Get my wife's name out of your mouth.
Just looking at the box office, what about number 13? I'm looking at the worldwide. Big Daddy. Big Daddy made $234 million.
Mate,
that was worldwide, and domestically another 160 on top of that.
Adam Sandler is a billionaire, mate.
Oh my God.
Big Daddy was right below American Pie.
Yeah,
like American Pie
what a great movie.
Was a good movie.
Yeah.
Very big at time. I can't believe Big Daddy was right. But that, I guess, same thing. Adam Sandler had some hits around then. So everyone's like, you know, and he's had some hits and he's had some bad ones.
Yeah.
And everyone would maybe rolling in because he's such a star. Like,
He's good. He's early movies. Some of it, like, there's 6 really, really, really good Adam Sandler movies. They're really funny still today.
oh, Happy Gilmore, unbelievable.
We're doing Happy Gilmore very soon on Born to Watch. It's coming. A bit like Kevin Spacey. Question time. First, Dan, question for you.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider group therapy when you were suffering from insomnia?
Excellent question, and it is debilitating, and I can agree with the narrator's some summary of it. It does feel like you're not asleep and you're not awake. It's just a floating feeling. But no, if I'd known that you could go down to the local YMCA, grab yourself an instant coffee, maybe a leftover donut, and motorboat meatloaf, I would have been into it for sure.
What would have been your go-to? Would you have been testicular cancer, or what do you reckon? It would have been?
It's fun. I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed the one where the cancer sufferer wanted to get
Chloe.
Chloe, yeah, I enjoyed. Whatever that one was, I would be there, and I would be very sympathetic to her overtures.
Would you? Okay, just an impromptu question. I'm going to throw it to both of you. If you're in the room and Chloe, who's a cancer sufferer, has only got, months to live, she goes, "I just want to have sex one last time." Hey, Gow, you throwing your hand up? If you're in the room, you're going to give her one?
I can't remember Chloe. I don't remember.
Remember they're at the group meeting, and she stands up at the front and says,
Your
I'm
lack of
dying
interest
and
in
I
this
just-
film, Gal, is very.
No, I just don't remember this scene.
She gets
talk
up and
about
she
this
goes,
later.
I just want to have sex one last time. I've got condoms, I've got dildos, I've got amyl nitrate, I've got lube, and the room's just there like, oh my God.
I don't remember that scene, but yeah, probably give it a go.
I know that our mate Slobberblobes Judd Smith would have been in there in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure. Sure.
I mean, in '99, Gal, I mean, I would have had a wooden bat in my pants. It would have just bam.
So that's a yes for Dan. Yeah, look,
Definitely.
I'm sure throughout our life that we've been thrown the occasional sympathy route, so we should give it back.
Sure enough.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the only ones I
okay.
get these days.
Yeah, Sam looks over and goes, "Oh God, look at that band."
Hell, he's got that look on his face, and he's been slapping that thing for 20 minutes. Jesus.
Yeah, move over to the left and slightly down, Sam. I'm coming in. So when you saw this movie for the first time, I know we're asking to go quite back, but did you have any idea that the narrator and Tyler Durden were the same person?
Well, Gal's never fucking seen it, so let's ask someone who's only seen it.
You would have heard.
I've just heard. That's why I was watching it. You already knew, so I never had that like the Sixth Sense where you're like, oh wow, there's a. Yeah. So I was watching it, picking up more of the clues though.
Yes,
as to what they were saying.
You know that time when I shaved my head and dyed it blonde, and you were so disappointed in me, and you didn't talk to me for 3 months. That's how I feel right now about you.
I actually never grew out of that phase, Morgs.
It's been a long 3 months.
There's been a lot of disappointment.
3 months. So there, and I'm going to say here, there is a part where, towards the end of the movie, maybe the last 30 or 40 minutes, where someone actually directly addresses the narrator as Tyler Durden. It's the only time.
Oh, it's when happens. He does when he starts chasing Tyler with his ticket stubs. That's the only time that you start all of the wait staff and everything start.
The unraveling is amazing, right? When it starts to unravel. But before the unraveling, there's a scene in the Fight Club where they actually address him, and Tyler's in the background and the narrator's in the foreground, and someone addresses him. I only just watched that this time and was like, wow, that's the first time. And then from then on, it's the unraveling.
Yeah.
Which is really amazing.
Is that similar to Michael Childs in the foreground?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Is smoking in the cancer groups the worst thing you could do? Is that the height of just being a wanker for Marla?
Yeah.
She's in testicular cancer smoking. She's in all the cancer groups smoking.
Yeah, she
Like,
just doesn't really give a
she
fuck,
doesn't give a
does she?
shit, does she?
No.
Okay. Is the airline safety argument about oxygen a reasonable theory? Where he says, well, look at the people in these photos. The oxygen makes you high, you're happy, you're euphoric, there's no panic. Is it a good theory?
It's actually not true. It's the hypoxia that makes you euphoric when you don't have the breath.
Right, okay.
Like,
Okay.
like they say people when they're drowning, they say that moment before they drown that like they have that
Euphoria, yeah.
That's the thing, but it's the oxygen doesn't. The oxygen's just going to make you breathe.
Right, okay.
You sound like you're into choking as well, G. Does Chrissy? Is she?
Time at time. A few belts.
Fucking hell. Now, question: how did the Project Mayhem guys all get jobs as waiters at the Ritzy Hotel?
Yeah,
they all of them got.
No, I can. I'm not as perturbed by that, Whitey. I know what a bitch it is to try and get casual staff for an event like that. I think they would have been embraced with open arms, all of them en masse. I think that would have been quite plausible.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
In the industry, we all start out waiting and doing odd jobs, before we make it, and that is just, I would say, is very common that you would be asked to bring your mates in. Like numerous times I've brought someone in that's become quite famous that would come and wait with me on an evening back in the day. So no, I totally agree.
Okay.
But all of
no
them,
names,
like,
but
all the staff, that was the thing that got me. It was like every single one of them, and not one of them wasn't. So
yeah, it was a bit odd. And they're all bald. They're all wearing wigs.
Mm.
Okay. So the guys in the back seat of the car. So one of them's Holt McCallany, and one's the other guy that's in Band of Brothers.
The young bloke, yeah.
Yeah, the young bloke. When Tyler and the narrator are having the argument in the car before the car crash.
Yep.
What the hell are they doing in the back seat of the car? Because it's only it's only Ed Norton.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and they're just answering questions, and it's like it's one guy's arguing with himself, and they just strapping their car. They're just going about it normally. Or do you think that they're used to seeing?
I think they're used to seeing his craziness. That's part of the appeal. Yeah, it's a really good pickup. I like it.
Possibly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So okay, cool. I think that's what I thought. I thought they must just be used to seeing him lose his shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we think the narrator and Marla are watching from a little close to the explosions? There's a building 50 meters in front of them explodes.
I had that.
Nothing happens to his.
All those buildings, just fall really quickly and neatly.
Yeah.
Bang, and they got down, and nothing. They just stand. There's no shaking windows. There's nothing. It was all a bit. It just came across. I know it is fake, but it came across like that. To me, that's what I had in my bad.
Yeah. Okay. So then, question.
I just want to go. Why did all these people, if they know he's a nutcase, or like they're used to his weirdness, all follow him?
That's cult leaders, though, aren't they?
I guess so. But he was like, if he's speaking to himself and all that,
I think, but also I think maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't speak to himself like that. Maybe it's when he's Tyler when he's asleep, which is why he's got this insomnia, because he's never actually sleeps. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. It's I found that
keeps you thinking.
Does keep you thinking. Okay.
You never read the book, obviously, G Master. I don't remember reading it.
No, I haven't read the book. I do know that that the writer of the book said that the movie's better
than the book.
It's a better depiction
good.
than his book.
High praise. Yeah.
Okay. Do the shot to the head. He dies. He has to die.
How does he not die? And then he starts talking, and they're all
he's like, just get some gauze, mate. His cheek surely would have been blown out.
That's Fargo.
It is Fargo.
It's Buscemi.
Yeah, it didn't skim, but at least Buscemi's could have skimmed.
But how
goes in the
he
mouth?
Shot up under here or
no, he
the
didn't.
mouth.
He shot through the mouth.
Yeah, but then he shot blown at the side of his head. But then Tyler Durden gets shot through the middle of the head when
the back of the head falls out. Yeah.
So that to me, I was like, I didn't get that bit. Yeah. And then he just said, "You're right," and he's like, "I'm okay." Like anyone's just shot themselves through the mouth, even if it came out the side, is going to be lying on the ground. You're not going to be moving.
Okay, last question, impromptu. Do the narrator and Marla live happily ever after? You found me at a really weird time in my life.
Yeah, I think so. She's nutbag too.
She's just a psycho as him.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I think to me that intoned that he'd gotten the demons, on top of the demons.
Yeah.
So whatever that Tyler Durden demon was coming out of him, he got that done.
Yep. Okay.
Because he turns back. It's the opposite of primal fear. He turns back.
Yep.
I mean, or where in primal fear he's pretending.
Yep. Okay. Aaron Stamper, I think his name is.
Aaron, yeah.
Okay. Born to watch only. Stampy. Fucking hell. Remember my brother doing that?
Your brother.
Annoying fucking cockhead.
We used to the Stampy. We both got punched in the head that night.
Fuck me. Stampy.
Swift left.
Born to watch only fans.
Oh, lick out.
No, look, I'm going quiet on the lick outs at the moment. There's been a few, but we're going to hold them up maybe to next week or the week after. We're going to do a massive OnlyFans lick out fest because we've got a few there, but we just want to put a few together. I must say that I'm really pleased that the perp is back into the fray.
Perp's back.
Yeah, she did a double listen today because she's got to catch up. She's been busy. She's listened to Mannequin and The Howling. So she's never seen The Howling.
She's
before.
not watching. She's not listening to it. Oh, she listens
She's
to
listened.
Howling.
She's never seen The Howling.
Not going to watch.
Waste of your time, Perp.
I'm sure she'll listen to Fight Club now that you're back, Dan.
Yeah, just get on every third or fourth.
But people, please reach out to us on the socials, on as Morgs would like to say, on the MySpace, but on Instagram, or you can even watch the show on YouTube if you feel like looking at our rough heads and seeing Morgs hold up a fast forward sign when Gow talks. It's quite humorous for everyone involved. But share to your friends. It's the best way for the show to be seen. Leave us a review on Apple and Spotify. Please go to borntowatch.com.au and leave us a voicemail. You will be forever part of the Born to Watch experience. We will play every single voicemail. That's what you've heard it here last. Moving on, the good, the bad, and the ugly, brought to us by our friends at Gage Roads Brew Company. We are waiting anxiously for the new drop. It's like Operation Dumbo drop at the moment.
Yes, definitely still waiting on our piss. Gee, man, you still launch into a couple of hazies, though, don't you, on the weekend when you get a chance?
I quite like that. I don't have any of the hazies, but yeah, I quite like them.
Yeah, still got some left. He was sucking on some the other way. They all gone now.
Yeah, no, I'm down.
Yeah, it's time. Yeah. It's time, Gage Roads. We've got to re-up. So I'll reach out to our friends. But yeah, really good piece, F-Wits.
Oh, it's got down to the point of just taking down Yeah Boys.
Yep. Yeah, I gave mine away as a Christmas present. The good G-Man. We're going to start with the first-time watcher.
Well, we've pretty much hit on what I had as the good. Intense. Loved it from the start. Intense opening music. Love that first part of the movie where you go into the backstory. You find he's an insomniac and he's got a job. And he's got a fairly stressful job, I'd say. Running through all of that, and you start to see, and we start to understand, explore his complex mind, and then Marla comes into the picture, and she's sort of a little bit like him, like that. So it was interesting to watch all of that before he descends into the chaos. Again, Fincher, dark movie. We already covered all of that. I really enjoyed that. Just made me think about Seven.
Yeah,
it was really a lot like that. But I think that sets the tone for this movie because you're going deep and dark into his psyche. I liked Brad Pitt's awesome in this, as Morgs touched on earlier. He's very charismatic and very good. I like the interaction between them. I think they're both such good actors. I mean, Edward Norton is unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable actor.
If you got to say that if he wasn't so difficult to work with, he could have been an absolute superstar.
Yeah, I just Rounders, like he's so good.
He's good in everything he's in.
He likes me. Yeah, he's like Jeremy Renner to me. Just really, really good actors.
Yeah.
Very, very talented.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed. I liked the the stuff between the two of them. I thought Helena Bonham Carter was really good in this role.
Yep.
She played that freaked out role really well. That sort of added to it to me as well. I enjoyed that. That's it.
Okay. Dan, good.
Yeah, I agree with most of what the G said, but for me, what stood out was the look of the film. I think that visually it could be released today and we would think that it is a modern film. It looks stunning, except for the lack of mobile phones and internet. Praise be the 90s. It looks incredible, and that's obviously Fincher's creative genius. But to be able to make something 25 years old that would be released tomorrow and viewed as incredible, I think is a huge plus for the film. All the performances, yeah, as G said, really good. People like Meatloaf, who were, I think, essential and brilliant. Just the supporting cast were really good. But yeah, the two leads for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned about the movie looking like it could be made today. I think all of Fincher's movies, like back to Alien 3, it's shot incredibly. It's so different. Like, it's so bold. Even though it's not awesome, it's the first Alien movie that's taken a step away from the norm. Like every other movie has got a lot of sameness to it in the Alien franchise, but Alien 3 is so distinctively different. You know, and then 7 is incredible. 7, I watched 7 the other week, and it looks like it was made yesterday.
Yeah,
you know, he's one of the greats, Fincher, and it's hard to not just sit there and marvel at what he does. As I said, the start is great. I really enjoy the start, and the opening credit sequence, which is inside the brain with the synapses flashing and all. It's just really cool, and it will become even better with Dragon Tattoo, as I said. It's funny because in a lot of movies, people would say that narration wrecks the movie, but I think this really works here. I think, and it sort of has to, because it's the voices in his head, I guess. But him explaining while we're seeing it happen,
it's often considered lazy filmmaking. But not showing us, having to tell us the whole time what's happening in the story. But yeah, I totally agree. It works perfectly in this film.
It bounced really well, yeah. And I think you're right because of that, because he's actually one and the same.
100%.
So he's telling it from one point of view, and then there's another there in visual.
So I really enjoyed in that first 20 minutes of the movie the flashes of Tyler before he meets him.
Yeah,
popping
cigarette
up.
burns.
I noticed them more in this viewing. And it happens like in the first minute. There's a flash of Tyler, and I think that's really cool. And if you've seen the movie, you know why it's there. But if you don't, you're like, what the fuck's going on there?
Yeah.
You mentioned Marla. I think she's amazing, and her just lack of concern and care for anyone else is awesome. I love how she steals the Meals on Wheels meals. I got one for you. Like, she just doesn't give a shit. I love the back and forth when they start to split up the groups.
Yeah,
she's really good in this movie, Marla. The first car inspection, when you don't really know what he does, but he goes to the first car inspection, the guys are just laughing about it, and they go, "Oh, look at the dad here, he's a big fat guy. Look at he's just burning the chair, and there's all the fat on the chair," and it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. You've mentioned it, but Tyler's jacket. If you said I'm going to wear a red jacket, people might go, really? But it's one of the great jackets in cinema history.
Yeah,
he pulls it off. He can pull it off.
He can pull anything. He can pull me off. The Tyler introduction and exposition, and you just mentioned there about the cigarette burns when he starts talking and he starts saying who he is and what he does, and then it's what Tyler likes to do on the weekends is go splice adult movies into things, and he goes, and you sort of sit there and you're not sure what you just saw, and then the girl's crying in the cinema because the big black cock's been spliced into the movie. I just think it's so fucking funny, so funny. The scene where Lou from the pub comes with his henchmen down the bottom, and this is where we see Tyler go next level and just get beaten and then spew all the blood on him. I thought that was amazing. I thought that is the best way to get what he wants. Just be a psychopath, spew your blood all over his face. I thought it was unreal.
It's none of his tactics are ever ego-driven or masculine. Like he's quite happy to lose to win. And that's a prime example of it. He's just super smart, and he just wants to evade rather than always have to dominate with his fists. It's really good.
I just found that bit funny though, because here comes in a guy with his heavy, and they come down with the guns, and then he ends up running out the stairs. I thought that was odd. It was odd behavior,
Well,
and then he never comes back.
Well, because they thought, well, there's 30 of these guys, and this
Yeah.
guy's a legitimate psycho.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, well, you're not really doing any. They weren't doing anything wrong down there. They weren't doing any harm to Lou's bar. They were pretty respectful, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which was quite odd considering what they go on to do. I love.
Yeah, you're really odd. Like, what else did you see in the film that was like you?
I don't know. It all looked normal to me.
Yeah, this is. You could really see Tyler for who he was. I loved the homework assignments, like pick a fight with someone and lose.
But you got to lose. Really funny. Yeah. The priest that he gets hosed.
Oh my god,
fantastic.
he gets a mention.
Everyone's got their limits.
Yeah, he gets a mention later on. The pigeons on the roof of the car dealership, like shitting all over the cars. Yeah. I just thought it was actually really funny. That whole sequence was really funny.
He's spraying him with the water.
Holt McCallany spraying the priest with the water is unbelievable.
You notice that when they do that, the camera's shaking. Apparently, the cameraman was laughing so hard.
Was laughing so hard.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've already mentioned it, but the unraveling of the narrator. So the narrator putting it together that he's the one person, and finding all the slips and the whole bit about the deja vu, and a bit about everyone then starting to say to him, "Yes, sir. No, sir. Is this a test?" That whole 20 minutes of him getting to the point where, oh shit, Project Mayhem's going ahead.
You said you'd say this.
Yes.
You said say that too.
Have to take his balls. Anyone that doesn't say we have to take his balls. Now, I don't know if any of you guys remember, but it wasn't that long ago. I reckon probably within the last 2 years, our great mate and fan of the podcast, Craig Maxwell Plimmer, his Instagram avatar was Bob.
That's right.
Yes. And he used to make comments and troll people, and people say to him, "Oh, you fat piece of shit!" It's like it's Robert Paulson, mate.
Yeah,
it's Robert Paulson. So I used to chuckle at that. Now, I think in a movie that is underhandedly funny, it really is. Like, it's not overtly funny. There is a scene which I think is my favorite scene in the film, and I could say it for quotes, but I'm just going to do the back and forth here. Narrator. This is when he's at the airport at the start of the movie. Narrator, was it ticking? Security officer. Actually, throwers don't worry about ticking because modern bombs don't tick. Sorry, throwers? Baggage handlers. But when a suitcase vibrates, then the thrower's got to call the police. Narrator, my suitcase was vibrating? 9 times out of 10, it's an electric razor. But every once in a while, it's a dildo. Of course, the company policy never to imply ownership in the event of a dildo. Always use the indefinite article of a dildo. Never your dildo. I don't own a dildo. I just thought that back and forth was so fucking funny. The security officer just leaning back in his chair, whispering effectively. It was just so good. And I thought that sums up the movie. Everything's really underhandedly funny. And not really, you don't piss yourself laughing, but it's like, that's a funny interaction. And that's the whole movie, right?
Yeah.
G-Man, okay, when you're on your travels lately, are you just a carry-on guy now, or are you stowing luggage underneath?
It depends on how long I'm going for. If it's only like a quick couple of days, then yeah, just carry on.
Couple of days.
See, when you went to Shanghai for Born to Watch Con, do you get on the big planes? You do carry-ons?
No, I didn't. I took a bag. It was cold over there. It was cold.
Right.
You would have to take luggage.
You had to take luggage.
Yeah. Okay.
You had to wear some semi-formal attire.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
Big business.
Big business.
Okay, bad. We'll start with you, Dan. What do you got for Dan?
The only
what do you got for Dan? Ugly?
I've seen this film a lot, and I really enjoyed this revisit, but it's a bit long. I think that they could have cut a bit out. I think it's probably a lot of my film viewing habits now. I don't have a lot of patience. 83 minutes, directors make it 83 minutes, and I'll love everything that you do. 2 hours 20, probably a bit long for me. I think that they could have cut out a bit of the padding in the middle third, but yeah, that's really for me. That was the only thing that perturbed me on this revisit.
Okay, good one. G-Man?
Bad.
Yeah.
Just going on from that, I thought that they did a lot of explanation at the start, which we said was really good. But then when the Fight Club got up to like there was new chapters going, and I know that he doesn't know because the narrator, because he but it just seemed to pop up a lot that all these people were all of a sudden members. And for example, like the cops, when they arrest him, go, you said you'd say that. I was like, but it's supposed to be all these anarchists that are raising up against consumerist society, but it's got high-level people that are there to, sworn to keep the peace and do all that. So it just seemed to grow really quick, and I didn't really understand that part. I didn't think that they explained enough about
We
that.
also, what's the time frame of this movie? We also aren't really told the time frame of the movie.
Well, at one stage, he says, I've been doing this for about a year.
All right.
But yeah, it's unspecified how long it is, but it just seems to grow. And then it's like everywhere he goes, people are like, yes, sir. And he knows everyone. I was like, all these people are following this batshit crazy guy.
Well, I think because he's starting to spend more time as Tyler Durden than as a narrator.
Yeah. And he's obviously traveled everywhere because he knows, he realizes he's gone to all these places. But yeah, I thought that was hard. How did he not die when he shot himself in the head? We've covered that.
Yeah.
When he goes into the building at the end, he walks up and he tries to smash the glass door with the seat.
Yes.
Like he pushes the bench up against it.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Durden starts talking to him. Then he takes out the gun and shoots the window. And then he kicks the whole pane in, but then the chair's not there. The bench is not there. It's obviously a continuity problem. But I was like, it was a bit stark to me. Like, the other one was one of the rules of Fight Club was you have no shirt and no shoes.
Yeah,
except for Bobby.
Well, Bobby had it was more of a movie making.
Well, it's I get that, but yeah, that didn't really. Yeah, it sort of made no sense. But maybe they could say the way they take his top off.
Well, it was because Tyler Durden was disgusted by his bitch tits.
Right,
was the reason why he allowed Bob to keep his shirt on.
Right,
they're quite big. They're double D's.
Yeah,
Bobby's tits.
Fats.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Okay, I've got the boss fight when he fights his boss, the regional manager.
Yeah. You didn't like that?
No, I do like that, but I also think the boss wouldn't have any marks on his hands or anything at all, and nothing, and he could just go, "This guy's just flipped out."
Yeah.
Right now, if he did something to make him at least hit him once. You know what I mean? And so to make it look like, well, maybe
the boss is not ruffled at all. Apart from when he grabs his hands in, he's got blood over his hands. The boss is not ruffled. He's not sweating. He's not got a shirt out of place. You can't throw someone in a room like that.
No.
And maybe Morgs can, but Morgs, you're a pugilist.
It's probably more of my Krav Maga training that would allow me to do that, not the boxing. But I don't like to talk about that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Fuck me.
The first rule of Krav Maga.
Yeah, we don't talk about Krav Maga. Can't spell it. Can't talk about it. Now, I this came really close to going ugly, but I've put it in bad. Demagnetizing the video shop is not cool.
Yeah.
It is not cool.
That's harsh.
But I've got it actually is a testament to how important and how popular the video shops were, that they thought, well, one way to I guess rock society is to demagnetize all the videos.
Yeah.
Alien was front and center. Did anyone notice that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Alien was front and center, which is interesting because it came out 20 years before.
Yep.
But
we didn't touch on that. But was this a big renter in the video shop?
Very hugely popular.
Yeah.
Hugely
but you couldn't really put it on, I guess, in prime time.
No, it was. You know what it is? It's teenagers think this is the greatest thing.
Oh
ever.
yeah, they see it as an actual fight.
Yeah, they see it as real world.
Rather than
real world. So especially at Avalon, they had fight clubs and sex parties and lipstick parties
and
stuff
dick books.
Yeah, and dick books. So there was a bit going on there. Anyway, ugly. I swear to God, Dan, your love of the Avalon dick book is bordering on obsession.
It's not bordering on obsession. It is an obsession. I'm just fucking blown away by it. I would give anything to get a copy of the dick book.
Yeah, I might throw some feelers out for the dick book.
Please. Is it true, Morgs, that you have a couple of events up your way and a few Karoy bar parties where you just talk about like, oh yeah, the dick book? So anyone find that funny? Anyone
thought about a
Anyone ever
Karoy
thought about
bar dick book?
I do. I have brought it up at the community meetings when the farmers get together and we chat about the land, and it doesn't go down well. No, they do look perplexed, and the talk moves straight back to poultry.
What they've decided is that anyone with more than 6 chickens can be in the dick book. So Dan just misses out, right? But okay, the ugly. Dan, will stay with you. What do you got?
No, nothing for me.
Okay, G-Man.
We hit mine about the buildings falling down. That's what I had for ugly.
Yeah. Okay, I've just got a couple. The broken fat bag, the human fat bag,
Oh.
and Tyler trying to catch it in his hands. That is
That was
gross.
great.
That's
Yeah,
disgusting.
That is so gross. And I've just got, this is as bleak as human existence gets. And I just think the movie is bleak, which is fine. You write it and I enjoy that, but I'm so glad I don't live in that world.
What about he's sitting on the toilet when Tyler's taking the bath?
Oh, it's so
that's just
bad. It's bad. The whole thing's bad. Dan's quick fire. Take it away.
It's a tenuous link to that particular story of the bath, but when I was researching this film, I was reminded of when we got into UFC for the first time, when we were on our travels and we were living in Canada and at the ski hill, and friend of the podcast, M Head, came over to live with us. And so we'd go down to the video store, and we were avid fans, and we'd get 7 for $1 each or something every week.
7 days, yeah.
7 for 7 days. And often we would get UFC compilation videos, and we loved Kenny Shamrock and Tank Abbott and all those OG UFC guys. Anyway, doesn't have a lot to do with the next part of the story, but G and I would go out and do our snow sports and work or go snowboarding and skiing. But friend of the podcast, M Head, would stay and just watch these videos, and he'd see like a cloud in the sky and go, oh, no, I'm not going to snowboard today. And at the same time, coincidentally, I had this tube of aloe vera that I would use when I get sunburnt.
And
it just kept going like down and down and down. And the problem was it was midwinter and there's no fucking sun, and I wasn't using it on my face. And so I couldn't work out what was happening to the aloe vera. Anyway, it turns out that M Head was in the bath with his feet up, those fucking meat feet on the wall, just utilizing my aloe vera for not what it was advertised to do. And whilst we were all out doing snow sports. Now, again, I'm not exactly sure what that had to do with the tail end of the story, other than there was UFC videos that he watched before he went and used my aloe vera.
I gotta say though, like I've been sunburnt before and I've used aloe vera.
Yeah.
I can't see it as being a great lube. It sort of dries pretty quickly and it absorbs into the skin. What he would have had is he would have had a sparkling shaft. But like as soft and supple as they come, no pun intended, but I can't see how that's the go-to.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what
bizarre.
you get for Ant-Man. It's a step up from what he usually used. I'll give you the tip. Daniel, quick fire.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you, F. Sorry about that. I'm just getting my little page ready. So, quick fire. Welcome back. Yes, F. So, look-alike, Morgs alike in the Great Fight Club. Now, we can just discard the obvious. Obviously, Brad Pitt, Morgs alike. Was there anything else in there that you saw that reminded you of anyone else or of a Morgs alike? Whitey, anything that took you?
Yeah, I got one.
I've actually got one, and
I've got one.
I'm going to call myself out and say maybe in my darkest and worst days that there could have been a little bit of Robert Paulson about me.
Oh,
I was just saying more fat Morgs. That's where I was going.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us in any of our comfy stages ever had breasts as magnificent as Robert Paulson.
They are
Well,
magnificent.
I thought more fat Morgs because he looked a bit like Mix 106.5, and Fat Morgs also didn't mind a bit of a cry every now and then.
Oof, yeah,
Fat Morgs just shed a few
It's
tears.
actually really good points. I'm going to accept that. And
Yeah.
a side note, that the day that I had been deluding myself that I was under 100 kegs and Mix 106.5 came up on the scales was a dark, dark day. Rick's 106. Oh, Fat
I
Boys.
have one. I have one. I'm gonna challenge Morgs on this.
Yeah.
I reckon it's Gow and Tyler Durden. Now, hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
Obviously, clearly the looks. You know, the
Yeah.
same rigs. We've got the same
90s.
rigs.
Same rigs, right? Yeah, yeah.
Both ripped up. Both former soap salesmen.
Yeah. Yes. A single service.
Single
service friends.
service soaps.
Tell us about your tampons.
And, I think probably.
This girl's still selling tampons. That's the great. That's the great JB.
Shout out to JB.
Josh Baxter, the robot.
Hope
he'll be listening.
I would dare to say the only
Shout out
difference
to
is
you,
probably that in the 90s he probably was pounding lots of tens.
Wow, it's
Not
like for
the
like.
fake, not the-
Yeah, I
like
can't,
for like.
I can't refute either argument there. I'm going to accept all of those answers. Well played.
I think that Brad Pitt shoplifted a fair few tooties in the 90s
mate.
like you did. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, we had to have a cough break. Next up, 5-minute movie. What could one of the characters have done to make this a really fast movie?
Marla doesn't exist. If the character of Marla doesn't
Yes.
exist, he just continues to go to his group therapies
and sleep.
and he gets this sleeping like a baby.
Ah, there you
Do you
go.
reckon yeah, maybe. Do you reckon he delves like he just ends up
Mate,
going crazy?
he goes
started
straight to
come good
sleep.
from there. Yeah.
Babies never slept this good.
Yep, that's good. Good point.
Great point. Excellent. I think that's the best answer we've ever had to 5-minute movie. Well done. Next up, the golden ticket for a scene or speech quote that has passed over into popular culture. G-Man, I'm not going to ask you because you've only seen it once. You cunt. I'm going to ask Whitey this one. Whitey.
Well, I think the easy one is first rule of Fight Club.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
knows that.
I think that is the standout, and probably Tyler Durden.
Yeah, that name's well known.
That is used, but I would say that I think the only real major one is
First rule of
first
Fight
rule
Club.
of Fight Club. I think it gets used all the time.
I like his name is Robert Paulson, but that's probably me just giggling. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah. Excellent.
That's a
All
good
right.
one.
I will accept all three. Well played. And next up, pig-faced lookouts for the biggest douchebag character. This is a tough one because it's not really, there's no real antagonist, is there? It's not, there's no one in the film.
Could Tyler fall into this category?
Possibly, but he's not.
Sort of.
I
But
mean,
he's not a bad
proper
character.
active,
He's
but he's not
descending into
really a
madness,
douche.
right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not really like that character's evil. That he's got mental problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm-
Yeah, okay, right. I can accept that.
I don't know.
What about regional manager? He's a bit of a dick.
He's a dick, but he's only a bland dick. Like he's not. He's certainly not
But he's
douchey
just-
for the sake of it.
But he's just got a guy coming every day with cuts and black eyes and stuff, and then getting worse and worse. I think he's probably like, what's going
Well,
on? here?
okay then. What about the narrator? Is he a dick? Like the way that he reacts to Marla, the way that he beats Jared Leto. Is he a bit of a dick?
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, he's of everyone you've described so far, he would be the most dickish and definitely the most
Just throwing him out
douchebaggers.
there.
Going to accept it. Well done, Whitey. Excellent analysis. Next up, we have Steven Seagal running for a particularly poor showing of athletic prowess. Now, I'll answer first. I noticed that Edward Norton has the crazy legs in his sprint. So
He's a bad runner.
definitely, yeah, he's a bit of a shit runner. I have seen myself on video sometimes running, and I do get that crazy legs. I've been working hard to try and get that out of my athletic prowess. However, he's the most notable I could think. Anyone else that springs to mind? There wasn't a great deal of chances. The fighters, I thought the fight scenes were excellent. They were definitely seemed realistic.
I've
Mate,
got three.
But sorry, just
Okay.
both those lead actors studied UFC morgues, like they watch a lot of videos.
Right, that would make sense. Yeah.
I think they look great. I think
Yeah, they
both
do.
Norton and Brad Pitt actually look great.
Well, they actually took some fight lessons. Obviously, to do that. They also took some soap making lessons.
yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What about the golf swings?
Yeah, they were horrible.
What a great
Apparently, they were
call.
actually really drunk in that scene.
Well, that was not even scripted.
Right.
Fincher, they were on a break, and Fincher filmed them, and they didn't know they were being filmed. And so what they were doing, they were hitting golf balls at the catering van. It was just a break in filming, and Fincher goes, "This is actually really cool. Filmed it, put it in the movie. Really
Great
good."
call.
And what about the priest trying to fight? He comes back and gives him like the bit of the gammy wrist fight.
Oh, I will say the narrator's first punch when he gets him in the ear.
Oh,
that's
that's
bad.
excellent.
A bit of a got a very limp wristed.
Yeah, it's bad.
Sort of ear slap thing.
Excellent. Whitey, both of you on fire tonight in Quickfire. Excellent play. Robot Sentries for an additional scene or scenes that we would like to see to tell us a little bit more about Fight Club. G-Man, on your tepid one viewing plus a few other little, I've seen it a few times, every year I've seen it things. Was there anything that you wanted to know more about Fight Club?
Only as I said earlier, just more into how he got recruited all those people. But I think you're right, Morgs. They could have cut that movie down a fair bit, but that was the only thing I didn't understand. I guess that they leave it blank because he doesn't know. So, but that's the only thing I didn't understand a lot of that, where all these people came from.
Yeah, okay. Whitey, anything you wanted to know more about?
No, I think I'm with you, Dan. I think it probably needs to be trimmed a little bit.
Good one. Okay, I agree with all of us. Finally, and it's taken quite a few movies to get to here, but Whitey's Brad Pitt for what you would like to do to Brad Pitt in the movie Fight Club. Whitey, you mentioned before you had a dilemma. Tell us.
There's a huge dilemma, right? Now, this Brad Pitt award started when we did 7, and we started.
That's right.
And where he is extremely attractive in that leather jacket that I love.
Yeah, you're more of a black. You're a trad.
I'm a bit more black. I'm more traditional.
Yeah.
And plus, like, the black hides what's actually behind the jacket a bit more as well. It's a bit more slimming, which fits my form.
Excellent point.
But so look, the easy answer is Brad Pitt, because I think that he's an easy answer. Helena Bonham Carter is not your traditional beauty, but from the little insight that you get from her, it wouldn't be bad. I think she'd have a crack. It would be interesting. Anyone that has to wear a dish glove is, they're willing to try many things, right? Okay,
it seemed energetic.
But it did. I'm going to trump all of them, and I'm going to stay hetero tonight and go with Lauren Sanchez, who was the news reporter that's reporting the news of the face on the building, and all the boys are sitting in the room watching the news
giggling.
report.
Yeah.
And they're giggling, and then Jared Leto goes, "She's pretty hot."
Yes.
And so that's who I'm gonna have a crack with.
Excellent. Good answer.
Lucky you, Lauren. Lucky you, Lauren.
Rationale.
I'm coming in hot.
It is a bit of a sausage festival, so it is difficult to find hetero love in the film, but I will accept that. Well done, gents. That is Quickfire.
Good one, Dan. That was a good one. Listen to this. Normally we would slip into the Snorbs report, but that is not happening.
Ah, boo.
G-Man, this is your wheelhouse.
Yep.
What do you got?
Got a few for you. Bit of a cameo in there. Ed Kowalczyk from Live. You know the band Live?
Oh, yeah.
He was the waiter who serves the narrator and Marlowe, and he's like, "Sir, anything you want is free of charge."
Oh, and that's where he goes, "Clean food, please."
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was him in there. During filming, Helena Bonham Carter insisted that her makeup artist apply all of her makeup with her left hand.
That's so funny.
So because she said she's not the kind of person that would really give a shit about it, so she sort of did it like really rough. Throughout the film, Tyler Durden wears these sunglasses that are called blue blockers. Now, they are commonly used by insomniacs to filter out blue light, so which is obviously detrimental to melatonin production.
Yeah.
So that was
we got loads of melanin.
How did I know that was coming?
Yeah. Now, the 3 detectives in the film are named Detective Andrew.
Is a really good
Detective Kevin, and Detective Walker. So Andrew Kevin Walker was a writer that David Fincher had on the film 7, and he did some uncredited work on the movie script. So he threw his name in there.
That's really cool.
That's legend. Very cool.
Is that it, Dre?
That's it.
Dan, you got anything?
I think I sprinkled mine out already.
Okay.
In general discussion points.
Cool. And we've covered a bit, but I've got a bit. So the author, Chuck Palahniuk, came up with the movie. He went on a camping trip and he complained to some nearby campers about the noise of their radio and they beat him up. And so when he returned to work and his face was all beaten up, no one actually said to him, "Oh shit, mate, what happened? Are you all right?" They just sort of ignored the fact that he'd been beaten up. And then so that gave him that, it was this fascination with this societal blocking, which became the foundation of the novel, where people weren't willing to actually care enough to find out what was wrong. Right. So yeah, really, really interesting. So we talked about the rubber glove in the sex scene. So this was actually Brad Pitt's idea, and it caused a huge deal of controversy with the president of production at Fox Pictures, Laura Ziskin. She was like,
Yeah.
"No, it can't be there." When she saw it, she demanded it be removed. However, at a test screening that she was at, the glove got the biggest laugh in the whole movie,
course. It's
which made her go, "Yeah, keep it in. Maybe we'll keep it in." The visible breath in the cave of Edward Norton is actually Leonardo DiCaprio's breath from Titanic that they've taken and visually and digitally put in there, which is really
well
cool.
played.
Composited the shot. We've talked about Bob wearing his shirts. The sex scene, so this is really interesting. So the sex scene between Tyler and Marla was shot using the same bullet time technique as in The Matrix. So they had all these cameras around the bed that would take one single shot in a sequence, right? And these single frames were then edited together and enhanced with CGI. So the key is, the funny thing is that both Brad Pitt and Helena Bonham Carter were fully clothed in motion capture shoots during the shoot. So it's actually not Helena Bonham Carter's fats. It's CGI, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
There's so many here. It's so the was that a verb?
It was.
Oh my god! So I got two more. This is an interesting. So the scene where the narrator's boss finds the rules of Fight Club on the printer, and then he responds with, "Whoever wrote that is obviously dangerous and might one day storm through a building shooting everyone." It was quite controversial at the time, but in early screenings, it got huge laughs. But this was before Columbine.
Yeah.
The Columbine shooting. So then after that, after the Columbine shooting in the screenings, no one laughed. And they were actually thinking, should we cut this out? But Fincher thought it was too important a scene because it then transitioned into a pivotal Marla scene after that. And so he's like, no, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't cut that. Now, this film was filmed in 138 days.
Wow.
That's 4 weeks and 110 days.
Nice work. I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's a long shoot.
Quotables. Daniel, anything?
Nah.
Okay. G-Man.
I had one, and it was just at the start, and it was Bob has bitch tits.
It's funny.
Out loud, yeah,
It's funny.
it's funny. Bob has bitch tits.
Okay, I got a few. Babies have never slept this good. The things you own end up owning you. Tyler's very profound. Well, apparently, he thinks it's quite profound. It's only us after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. Well, that's pretty. He's got some smattering of. I loved On the Plane. Now it's a question of etiquette. As I pass, do I give you the ass or the crutch?
Yeah. There was actually another one. I was thinking about that because I saw it in the quotes about Laura Ziskin.
Yep.
So the original line after they have sex, that she said was that Marla says is, "I want to have your abortion."
Yeah.
And Laura Ziskin was like, "No, you can't have that in. There's no way. I'm blowing up against that." And he said, "Okay, well, I'll change it, but you can't change it what I change it to." And she agreed to that. Goes, "Okay." So then she said, "I haven't been fucked like that since grade school."
Yeah. Which
and then she goes, "No, you can't have that." He goes, "No, you already agreed." So that's why it stayed in.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite Tyler Durdens. Hey, you created me. I didn't create some loser alter ego to make myself feel better. Take some responsibility. Yeah, very good. Okay, gents. I couldn't find a 1 Degree of Kurt Russell.
No.
I don't think there is any. That leads us into film school for F-wits. Take it away, Daniel.
Yes, F-wits. I had a discussion with our illustrious executive producer today, wondering if I'd already done this topic before, and we couldn't remember. And I obviously was not going to remember because I don't have that capability. But Whitey couldn't remember it either. So we're gonna do it again. But if anyone remembers if I have done this fuckwits previously, film school for F-wits previously, then please reach out and let us know. However, today I thought we would talk about the top 20-ish. It's probably more like 15 because there's some I don't like. Top 15 best movie ending songs. And obviously, I will talk more about this particular film and where the ending song ranks in it. But gents, in no particular order, just some songs that are mentioned when you talk about the top 15 or 20-ish ending songs. So I know you guys love this movie. I don't mind this movie, but I do agree that the fade out song or the final song is an excellent choice, and that is Iron Man, the 2008 film that kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe that may or may not have fucked film forever. However, this first one was pretty good, and it concludes with the song Iron Man by Black Sabbath, and it's pretty fucking kick-ass and a very good use of a song as a final track. Whitey, what do you think of that one?
It's a great track. It's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, that film isn't bad. I know I carry on about
Good.
Marvel
Iron
films
Man's
and they
amazing.
probably jump the shark, but
Yeah,
I
loved
do. I don't mind Iron Man at all.
Sorry, I just tuned out. I didn't know what we were talking about.
Good one, Gal. I like that as well. The next one up, you probably don't know the name of the track, but you definitely know the film Surf Rider by the Lively Ones, even, not Lively Ones, which concludes the film Pulp Fiction.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So perfect song to encapsulate the cool demeanor of the assassin's exit, helping to get across that easygoing California vibe. Beach-inspired, single brilliantly wrapped up in the 90s masterpiece. So you cannot disagree. This one, I mean, we all agree with this, but the conclusion to arguably the greatest film of all time and the track that is used is by a Scottish band called the Jesus and Mary Chain. And the track is Just Like Honey. And the film is Sofia Coppola's masterpiece, Lost in Translation. Gents, tell me about your relationship with that film and this song.
Okay. No, I have no relationship. I don't think I've made it to the credits of Lost in Translation. I think as soon as I've watched Lost in Translation once, as soon as the movie ended, I pressed stop and erased it from my memory. It's fucking terrible.
Excellent. That's not my experience with the film, but
yeah,
I appreciate
we know that. We know that.
You know that whole disappointed phase, Dan?
We've re-entered the disappointed phase. All right, I'll start cranking through them, but also recognised as great use of a final song, Extreme Ways by Moby to conclude the Bourne films.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, well done.
Very good. Yeah, great film. I mean, Stand By Me. I watched that last week, actually. Revisited Stand By Me from 1986, and the actual Stand By Me track by Ben E. King concludes that film and is an excellent use. Now, this film, I particularly love. What's your relationship with Trainspotting, Gow? Is that a film that you return to?
I haven't watched it for a long time, but yeah, it was obviously one of those movies that came out. It was just crazy when you first saw it.
It was big for us. It was a bit of a transitional time. We were just about to enter into our travels, so it wasn't something that we were sitting around watching in video. But if I was to say, drive boy, dive boy, dirty numb angel boy, in the doorway boy, she was a lipstick boy, she was a beautiful boy, and tears boy, and in your inner space boy, you, God, I can't get it now. But anyway, you get it. Born Slippy. Absolutely incredible track by Underworld, and will forever be remembered to conclude Trainspotting. Apocalypse Now, the end
kind
by
of
the
sums
Doors.
up that whole movie, doesn't it? Just a crazy ride.
Crazy ride. Shout it out. Lager, lager, lager. Great film. Well worth a revisit. Apocalypse Now was The End by the Doors, which again, quite incredible. Now, this is another film that I really love. What do you guys think of Drive, the 2011 Ryan Gosling flick?
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. It's good. It's a good movie.
Never seen it.
Yeah, it's
Haven't
a movie I watch. I'll
No.
probably watch it once a year, and I watched it again last week, I think it was. But very 80s synth pop inspired soundtrack and a real hero by College and Electric Youth concludes this film, and I think it's fucking fantastic. So check it out, F-Wits. Goodfellas concluded with My Way by Sid Vicious, which was particularly ingenious and endearing. Donnie Darko was Mad World when Mad World just went massive with the cover by Gary Jules. Then Eminem, I mean, he won an Oscar for it, and 8 Mile, his Lose Yourself just became absolutely ubiquitous on the back of that. Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me from The Breakfast Club. I know we've done that on this schmozzle, and what an excellent track it was. Unfortunately ruined by Judd Nelson doing his air punch as the conclusion to the film.
Under Table Panty Sniffs.
Thank you.
Yep.
But the top three, I think you could have in any particular order. But number 3 will go with, do you remember the song that concluded The Matrix from the same year, 1999?
Oh, no.
No, it's actually a Rage Against the Machine track, and it's called Wake Up. And you know it when you heard it, but it's not one of Rage's singles, so it's not something that you would have probably been into at the time. But I think that new metal rap rock style is just absolutely perfect for The Matrix, which was the sole good film in that quadrilogy. I think we all walked away from that film thinking, what the fuck have we just seen? And that song really capped it off nicely. The second, I'll talk about the second of the last 3, goes back to 1967, and On the Back of the Bus with a massive nosed Dustin Hoffman and his bride to be escaping. It wasn't that song, but it was.
No, it's not that. It's Sounds of Silence.
Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, which is an ethereal, very well loved song, and just the look on their faces, I think, what the fuck have I done? As the graduate concludes, I think is a brilliant use of final song. But number 1, I think it's this film. I think it's the Pixies. I think it's Fight Club, and I think it's Where Is My Mind is just absolutely burnt into our memories and aligned with this film so well that David Fincher has just hit it out of the park, and I could not think of any other track to conclude this film.
I think I agree with you, Daniel, but I think you're forgetting one movie with a great.
Oh, please go.
It's a long road
One of the greatest.
when you're on your own.
Oh, Jesus. We all know what my thoughts of the final. I wouldn't even say third, final fifth of that particular flick. Let it down. But anyway, if you've got any other songs that you think are equal to and should be included in that list, please reach out and let us know. But for this week, that was a film school for F-Wits.
Well done, Daniel. We don't move too far away from The Man on the Land, as it is a kick-ass credit song, and he's penned something what he has said himself is quite special.
Give it to us, Dan.
What have you got, mate?
Thank you. Yes, I mentioned earlier on that I had a little ditty about Robert Paulson's breasts. It was definitely aligned with the Snobs Report. It was a bit of a one-trick pony. I giggled a bit myself, but I thought, no, I can do better. And instead, one thing that we haven't mentioned on this particular episode, but I found hysterically funny, was the fact that when this film was released in China, they actually decided to change the ending because it just didn't align with what they wanted the people in China to be thinking of when they saw Fight Club. So this particular kick-ass credit song is called The Ending That Was Better. And in brackets, it's called In Praise of the Chinese Version of the Fight Club Ending, close brackets. And it goes a little like this. Fight Club was great, but the twist, it was tough. We were all shocked, thinking, is that enough? But in China, they knew how to fix the plot. No bombs, no chaos, just a nice, calm final shot. Instead of destruction, they saw hope and cheer. The narrator was caught. No need for fear. In the People's Republic, they wrote the right way. A different style of happy ending for a brighter new day. No anarchist here, just a man with a dream. He helped society without tearing at the seam. He took a new job, all suited up neat. In China's version, the ending's so sweet. I could have a cough. Tyler's not there, but the message is clear. We all need peace, so let's give a cheer for the censors' fine work. They crafted it well. No more destruction, just truth to tell. Oh, China censors, you saved the flick. You turned it around with your skill so slick. No more bomb blast, no more madness in sight. You gave us a story that felt so right. I bow to you, our new overlords. Yeah!
Well
we do bow to our Chinese overlords.
Well
So
done.
basically, just concluding, and I couldn't get the exact. Basically, it stops before all of the buildings blow up, and a super comes up, and it says, through the clue provided by Tyler, the police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all the criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding. After the trial, Tyler was sent to a lunatic asylum, receiving psychological treatment. He was discharged from hospital, and something. Fuck. Hang on.
He was discharged from the hospital in 2012.
And lived happy ever after.
That's it. He was discharged from the hospital in 2012. Like, what the fucking fuck? What do you mean you just changed that entire film in the final frame? That's just spookily brilliant and well played. Well played, Janez.
Very Chinese. Star of the show, Daniel, we'll stick with you. Who you got?
I'm going to give it to Fincher. I think that it's his bag. I think that he had all the creative vision. I think that the style and the look of the film lives on to this date. I think all the performances were great, but I think Fincher was the master conductor, and it's his vision that we see, and it's his vision that we love. Well played, you, David Fincher.
G-Man? Nothing more to say. I've the same. Fincher really nails this one.
Yeah, I'm the same. It is Fincher. It's Brad Pitt's really freaking good in this, though.
Yeah. I think they both, as I say before, I think the chemistry between the two leads is really, really good. I think that really adds to it.
Apart from Meet Joe Black, has Brad Pitt ever done a shit movie?
Meet Joe Black did.
Meet Joe Black is horrendous.
Swung it a lot.
I reckon he's done a Terrence Malick film, and I reckon it was shit. Did he do Tree of Life? Like that,
Tree of Life. Yeah, I mean that's just Terrence Malick. Yeah, he was. I think most actors would have jumped at that. He's obviously revered Terrence Malick and does like one film every 30 years. But yeah, okay, I'll accept that. But yeah, if it's again anything that you didn't enjoy from the Brad Pitt pantheon, let us know on the lookouts.
Yep, good call. Okay, The Rank Bank. I just actually had the Love Boat song going through my head, singing The Rank Bank. We're gonna give it another run. The Rank Bank. Okay, Blink and You Miss It Cockshots. Big Tourists. Illusions of Safety. Single Serving Friends. Psychotic Imaginary Friends. Throwers. Pilot Lights, Bitch Tits. Nice.
I had bitch. I was going to see if you said it. And I was going to say mine is that.
Nice big cocks, pissy lobster bisques, and farted on meringues.
Oh, doesn't the gorilla food prep make you sick?
Oh, it's so bad.
So
look,
gross.
I think whilst I do enjoy pissy lobster,
I like single serve friends as well. I think that's great.
I do like that.
It's got
to be bitch tits.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me just get this sorted. Bitch tits. Okay, we'll start with you, G-Man, being the first time that you have seen Fight Club. How many bitch tits are you giving Fight Club?
Don't you fuck this up, G-Man.
Oh, wow. Well, now I might just have to. Good watch. I'd like to watch it again.
I think you
because-
need to.
because I'd like to understand a little bit more some of the cues that you maybe, some of the things I missed in there from only having seen it once. You know, you pick up a lot of things or you think about it. And I've done them in a couple of days, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that movie to get in your head. And, you know, sometimes I've watched a movie and gone, I don't really like it. And the second watch, you go, wow, you know, I do. So I'm going to give it 4 bitch tits.
4 bitch tits. That's a good score. I
That's
like
a very
it.
good score. Yeah.
Yep. Dan, how many bitch tits are you giving Fight Club?
Yeah, Fight Club. If I didn't feel it was too long, it probably would go to 5. But I'm going to go with 4.5, 4.5 bitch tits for me. Really great revisit. It's a film that I will continue to revisit into the future. Very much enjoyed it on this case. 4.5 for me, please.
Okay, I'm going to be the highest score here. I'm giving it 4.75 bitch
Ooh,
tits.
there you go.
I really enjoyed it this time around. I was able to, and I think, what you said is right. I think it's this kind of movie that the more you watch it, the more you can appreciate it. I think that sometimes, whereas with Sixth Sense, I think once you know the twist, that it loses some of its shine.
Oh, I totally agree.
Whilst
The
it's
twist
still
doesn't-
great.
Yeah.
But the twist here, it's for so long of the movie that, you know what I mean? The payoff is so long. It's 70% of the movie that I think it still holds you, and it's quite amazing watching how they do it.
Well, I watched it knowing that.
Yeah.
And I still was intrigued in it. And I still got right into the characters.
Yeah.
You know, they're really, really
I think
strong
sometimes you
characters, yeah.
forget. I think the
Yeah.
beauty of it is that sometimes you forget that they're the same person.
You're just rolling
He's
with it
talking to
because
himself.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, G-Man, where does that put Fight Club in the Pantheon?
Now, it puts it at 4.42. It's equal with a movie which was rated with underrated 80s movies girlfriends.
Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller. It's right above. Now, listen, it's right above Top Gun Maverick with 4.33 hard decks. And First Blood, Morg's favorite, with 4.33 King Shit Cops. Right below Mad Max 2 and Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what position in the
So
bank
that
is it?
brings us in at
It's got to be
position
high.
27.
Yeah, okay. That's good. Top 30.
It's in the top 30 at the
In the
moment.
top
yeah.
30. Okay.
Like when you look at Top Gun Maverick, that was our top movie for a while there.
Yeah, it was.
Big Trouble in Little China was right up there.
Well, Big Trouble in Little China, very dear to us all.
Yeah.
People may sit and listen and go, why the hell have they rated that a better movie than Fight Club? And that's because we fucking love Big Trouble in Little
Well,
China.
see, that would have been higher if
personal.
Damo poo-pooed it.
He
You only
did.
gave it a
I'm
3.5.
Pretty
so
sure I
brought it
might
down.
have given Big Trouble in China 5.
No, we gave it. Yes, you did.
I did, yeah.
No, you were 4.75. I
Okay.
was 5.
Yeah.
And Morgs was
I might regret the 4.75. I watched it not long ago again. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Hang on, Caitlin's here. Fucking dog. Well, gents, I reckon that's it for another episode of Born to Watch. Next week, Dan is out as usual, and it's me and Gow and Damo. And we're going back to the 80s.
Ooh.
Fucking dog. I just want to drown it.
mate. That dog is a fucking one.
I want to drown it.
It's a
I
fucking
hate
one.
it so much. I hate it so much. We're going back to the 80s. We're going to watch Mrs. Steven Seagal get made by two nerds.
Oh, Weird
In
Science.
Weird
oh.
science.
Oh,
There's a
good
story
choice.
there.
Yeah, there'll be a lot spoken about from a Snorbs Report aspect. And
Yeah.
could Weird Science be made in 2025? I
Yeah.
don't
God,
think
no.
so.
No.
I tell you what, I'm going to really enjoy this rewatch because I haven't watched that probably since the 80s. But I really
Yeah.
remember enjoying it.
So
Exciting.
I tried to watch it with Isabel a couple of years ago, and Megan blew up because it was too much, she thought.
Right.
Drama.
I'll
It's
be
probably
father of the
very
year.
time. Very time.
I'll be father of the year. I'll be watching this with Isabel this week.
Is
It'll be
Anthony
long
Michael
enough.
Hall in that?
Yeah,
My intentions.
yeah.
He's
He's
the
the
lead.
lead. He's the lead.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, guys, get ready weird science. Go back to the 80s. It'll be fun. And until next week, G-Man, thank you. Daniel, thank you.
Thank you, gents. Excellent work. Thank you.
Bye for now.
See ya.